Previously on Smart Mobility Today, we heard stories about fungi tracking robots, a yacht that makes hydrogen, EV charging, lots of AI news, and a piece featuring the MSU Formula Racing team from our Ostimo Engineering Careers Tour. This week's show focuses on robotic sight, autonomous trucking, EV industry intrigue, the power grid, and threats to dark skies.
You've got something to say, and we can help you say it. Detroit Media Productions is here for your audio, photography, and video needs. DetroitMediaProductions.com.
Hi, this is Cindy Polakowski. At this week's NVIDIA's GTC conference, General Motors announced that it would use NVIDIA's Drive AGX chips to enable next-generation autonomous passenger vehicles. According to GM, quote, "In the future, we expect to launch personal autonomous vehicles, or PAVs, with the ability to take you wherever you want to go without a human driver. The company is developing a software platform that is intended to power a range of vehicles, including small passenger cars and full-scale trucks. GM promises more safety features, added personalization, and Level 3 self-driving, where the vehicle is capable of handling driving tasks under specific conditions, but where a human driver must take over when requested by the system." Ford's board praised company CEO Jim Farley this week for bringing fresh talent to the automaker. The very next day, Farley announced the hire of former Lululemon executive Michael Aragon to develop new vehicle software and services. Heading up Ford's Integrated Services division, Aragon is expected to bring insights gained in the clothing and fashion industry. He starts at Ford next week and reports directly to Farley. It is almost climbing season at Mount Everest, and according to the New York Times, mountaineers will be getting aid in addition to what human Sherpas traditionally offer. Companies that manage expeditions to the summit of the highest peak on Earth have been testing drones capable of delivering supplies, up to 35 pounds of medicines, oxygen canisters, and other gear. In addition, they are able to remove the waste left by humans. While there are many who oppose the reduced reliance on Sherpas, delivery of goods from base camp, normally a 7-hour task, takes 15 minutes by drone and reduces the real risk of fatal accident, increasingly common as climate change causes snow to melt faster. The tragic loss of 3 Sherpas in 2023 prompted the exploration into the use of drones.
Looking for better ways to manage your IT, phone systems, or remote workforce? Improve your organization using technology that works for you. psntechnology.com.
Autonomous trucking is getting closer to reality in Texas. Houston-based Bot Auto is launching a full-scale pilot program this year on a busy route running 200 miles between Houston and San Antonio. The pilot involves Freightliner semi-trucks equipped with Level 4 hardware and software systems carrying real cargo with nobody behind the wheel. The test will run for a minimum of 4 months, with system upgrades added after that period, based on what the pilot reveals. Bot Auto hopes to own a fleet of its own trucks, eventually becoming a logistics servicing trucking company. Google just made its biggest acquisition yet. In a deal worth $32 billion, the company is buying Wiz. The move adds to Google's expanding cloud business, which is dominated by AI and cybersecurity technologies. Google, in the middle of a regulatory investigation over its app and search business, expects the Wiz deal to be approved in 2026. This is the second sale to a large tech giant by these friends who had served together in the Israeli army, responsible for surveillance operations, cyber warfare, and military intelligence. Terra AI just raised $7.8 million in funding to develop a software platform known as zero-shot navigation. The goal is to create robotic visual navigation. The majority of robots today cannot move between various locations, and only a small portion of them employ any kind of AI-driven navigation. These limitations exist as the robots rely on custom software, Wi-Fi, GPS, and sensors to get around. In addition, the hardware used in much of robotics has pre-made software and sensors designed for specific tasks. The idea of robotic sight moves away from these restrictions by developing a, quote, spatial reasoning AI system, an affordable visual navigation option for autonomous robots, applicable in any robot with a pre-existing camera and GPU. We will be right back.
All right, ready. All right, I'm ready. No, that's fine. All right, ready.
More water. I know.
But I can give it a go. Presenting.
Too many. I did.
Hey, shut the door.
He's back. Makes no sense. Okay.
I said it. I said it.
Aspen Search Group finds the talented professionals your organization needs to keep growing. Visit aspensearch.us and talk with our expert recruiters.
Rivian, headquartered in the Detroit area, has built some anticipation as the company has been developing EVs that are expected to compete with Tesla. Recently announced, the first of these is the R2, a small SUV styled like the bigger R1S. The R2 competes with the Model Y, Tesla's best-selling vehicle. Rivian says that the new offering has a range of above 300 miles per charge, includes much of the popular technology, as in the larger R1S, and costs $45,000, comparable to the Tesla. And more about the current EV market in the U.S. The politics involving Tesla's CEO have triggered reactions from Tesla owners and other U.S. consumers, so much so that Consumer Reports has decided to publish a list of the top EV choices that are not a Tesla. The nonprofit publication tests vehicles and surveys consumers about their experience and their opinion. They also test EVs and maintain a listing based on the results of those tests. The non-Tesla results, rated on criteria like reliability, owner satisfaction, and mileage. BMW and Porsche account for the top three. Almost all listed are non-U.S. brands, and the 10 range in cost from $28,000 for the Nissan Leaf to over $100,000 for the Mercedes-Benz EQS. Speaking of EVs, the deployment of more of them in the United States, plus other pressures for power, means that utilities and grid operators are challenged with better managing loads to support expanding power networks. This demand is expected to continue even as President Trump removes things like vehicle range targets and federal funding. Because long-term EV deployment depends on other more permanent factors like commitments from the industry, state-level support policies, cheaper energy, better technology, and consumer acceptance. Finally, some of that cheaper energy I just cited relating to powering EVs involves developing multiple energy sources. One of these is hydrogen and green hydrogen in particular. It's a popular idea, but often a good idea has an unintended consequence. In Chile's Atacama Desert, a green energy plant might increase nighttime brightness by as much as 35%, ruining one of the best astronomy sites in the world. A 35% increase would negatively impact the scientific observations conducted by some of the world's largest and most expensive telescopes. The affected site is Mount Paranal, home to the European Southern Observatories. Very large telescope. The green hydrogen facility is a 7,400-acre development proposed by U.S. energy company AES. According to the company, the impact due to increased brightness is minimal, 0.27%. Scientists disagree.
Read these stories and more at globalautomobility.com and subscribe to Smart Mobility Today on your favorite podcast platform. Sign up to receive our weekly newsletter and follow us on social media at Smart Mobility Today. Produced by Detroit Media Productions, this is Smart Mobility Today.